Hey guys, and welcome to an epic showdown between the might of Sir Tarquin of the Beastmen folk up against Lotus Moon, the sneaky high elf himself. Should be a good fun showdown here on Karaz. It's an interesting matchup to say the least, one that I think a lot of high elf players are currently struggling in as well. It's a bit interesting to see what a player of the level of Lotus Moon brings to the battlefield, but likewise what his opponent shall do with the Beastmen forces, because this is a super fun Beastmen build. We have Chaos Warhounds on the left here, supported by the Sons of Goros. They're angry, they're mean, and they're here to dish out the damage. They're incredibly fast armor piercing, should be able to bring the pain if they can catch the elusive elves themselves. For the main battle line, we've got a bucket ton of Ungor Spearherds dotted all the way along, as well as Gore Herds, going very, very wide it would seem. Even triple Bestigors in the back here, one of which is the Regiment Renowned Gorok's Man Ripper. So going with a bit of an infantry theme, which is very interesting considering the most Beastmen players at the moment tend to go with like 5 units for Ungor Spearherds and then just a load of big single entities. So it's a really good fun build. We have a Jaroslife in here, one of the most gruesome looking beasties in the game with some insane attack animations. It is quite a powerful unit as well. I'm so happy this bad boy did get brought into the game. Leading the army on a Tuskor chariot, we do have a Bray Shaman, or Great Bray Shaman I should say. Almost gotten confused with Gandalf the Grey there. Although he does look very magical himself. Maybe fights for a bit of a different side. Coming in with Traitorkin, a very powerful direct damage spell. It's an air of effect, slows down the enemy as well, which will really aid this Beastmen build. There's 2 Ungor Rays in the back, and by aid this Beastmen build, I mean it's going to be pivotal, because look at the absolute madness that is this high elf deployment. We have Silver Guard, 3 units, dotted out really far spread out across the battle line. We have some Dragon Princes in the distance who have managed to catch some Chaos Warhounds, and then we have Illyrian Reaver Archers, 2 units pushing forward, but the main punch of this build is going to come in the form of single entities and single entity monsters, which is the way high elves are competitively played at the moment. We have double Handmaidens of the Everqueen down here low. Going to be looking to try to snipe out some of the enemy characters. Should be able to do some really good damage, actually, to the Great Bray Shaman if they can indeed get in range of him. Up in the skies, we have Halariel the Radiant, Earthblood, Tempest, and Star of Avalon will be her poisons of choice, alongside a beautiful, rare sighting of a Frostheart Phoenix. I only ever really see Falcon bringing this bad boy, so seeing Lotus Moon in action with the Frostheart is going to be badass indeed. And my god, does it have a really cool colour scheme. Look at all those like little shards and ice gems coming off its back to form its mane. It is so badass, but it's going to be falling back at least at the moment. And that is the majority of what I assume that the Hell Forces are going to have to do here, is hit and run style of play. It looks like the sisters may actually be caught here, the double Everqueen Court Guard down here on the ground. It looks like they're just about going to be able to flee away, but this is a nice trap. Traitor King goes down on the Illyrian Reavers, lowering their speed to 68. Sons of Goros up to 93 speed are in hot pursuit, but I'm not sure if that Traitor King was popped slightly too early there, because I'm not sure if the Centaurs are actually going to be able to catch in time. The spell doesn't last that long. Looks like they are back all the way up to their 90 speed. Should be able to kite back rather effectively. Some Chaos Warhounds, who were in deep reserve early on, have really struggled to try to get free and unfortunately have been sniped. Talking of sniping, it looks like the 2 big birdies have swooped down upon the Great Bray Shaman to try to finish it off, and done basically absolutely nothing. It looks like there's even some friendly fire coming in, and in comes the Jaroslife as well as the Sons of Goros, and if they can trap Alariel here, that would be absolutely beautiful pick. You can see a massive body slam from the Jaroslife comes in. Alariel is actually getting relatively close here to wavering, but a Star of Avalon pops. Silver Guard do indeed push up, as well as the Frostheart Phoenix. It looks like we're going to be getting a Traitor King, though, on the enemy. Alariel is broken just 1 minute and 50 seconds into the game. Silver Guard, though, are beating down the Sons of Goros right now. And that is going to buy time for Alariel to flee, get back into the sky. And she is one of those ladies who comes in with a ridiculous amount of healing. So should come back to the battlefield, I think. There we go. She has indeed returned. The Handmaidens of the Everqueen are falling back at the moment, abandoning the Silver Guard to get absolutely butchered here by the ground forces of the Beastmen. Summon Guard are faring pretty good up against Gore Herds up in the sky. Dragon Princes getting ground down though. Really nice clutch play here coming in by the Beastmen player, messing up those Dragon Princes with the Chaos Warhounds, allowing the Bestigors to get in there and take down 10 of the Dragon Princes by themselves. Frostheart Phoenix tries to aid the ground fight, but that Jabberlife has been an absolute pain in the booty and doing a bucket ton of damage. Now, the Jabberlife, though, can take pretty considerable damage to these Handmaidens if they do focus fire him down. He only has 60 armor, and they've got really good damage output on their missiles here. Dragon Princes do clatter into the Sons of Goros, doing some really nice damage, as well as trying to run over these Ungor herds, use their mobility to sneak away from the Bestigors, trying to push through the enemy. There are a few of those Sons of Goros holding back the Dragon Princes, as well as a Traitor King coming down. It's going to allow the Bestigors at least to get some of them, and you can see some of the stragglers getting dragged down here. A nice clutch Earth play, though, coming in, or Earth Blood, I should say, by the high elf player to give these guys a little bit of respite, at least from that Traitor King. But the Gorox Man Rippers are going to be a big problem to deal with, I think. There's a bit of a sandwich coming on here. Silver and Guard are completely surrounded, forming a shield wall on either side to beat back the Gore herds and Ungors. But though they are surrounded, they're given as good as it gets, actually doing some really awesome work. Dragon Princes, however, are fleeing for their life, still struggling to escape here. And now the Jabberlife has indeed joined the party. Look how happy he is. He's like a little happy drunk puppy charging after these Dragon Princes. He's got his charge animation up, but he can't quite catch them, unfortunately. Great Bray Shaman up to 33 kills so far. Looks like he's actually going to be going for a bit of elf bowling here. There's a nice little line of Silver and Guard. Let's follow him through and see if he can actually run his way all the way through them. And he is slowly grinding to a halt. He gets his about halfway through the unit of Silver and Guard before going into the gutter on the right-hand side. Some really lovely work there. And that is his favourite pastime, I have been told. He's actually coming back for a second rampage through, up to 47 kills now. And yeah, these Silver and Guard, they were holding firm, but as soon as the Bray Shaman came over there and assists, it was all over for that unit. Looks like a lot of the high elf forces are wavering and kind of broken. We still do have a nice 86 full units here of Silver and Guard, supported by Dragon Princes as well as Illyrian Reavers. This other unit of Dragon Princes never really kind of got out of danger, unfortunately. 67 kills isn't bad at all, but really are getting dragged down here by the swarm of infantry. Jabberlife aiming to take down the Handmaiden, which is a really good target because these ladies have been a big pain. 360 no scoping the enemies to death. Bray Shaman is trotting along here, trying to escape the fury of the Frostheart Phoenix and Alarielle, rather wisely pulling back through his own forces and hopping on top of this other Handmaiden. Frostheart Phoenix, though, is incredibly tanky, so it's quite happy right now just to dive into the midst of the enemy and try to snipe out the Great Bray Shaman. We are going to see yet another Traitor King come down, slowing down the escape of the Handmaiden, as well as the Frostheart Phoenix. Although this Handmaiden has survived quite a pounding so far. Great Bray Shaman can't really get kind of to kill her. Oh my god, no! She was wavering! If the Frostheart Phoenix hadn't charged in there, she probably would have broken. And we're so close to the edge of the battlefield, but she has indeed survived, meaning that ammunition can now be poured into the Great Bray Shaman himself. In the distance, Gore herds trying to run down Silver and Guard, but unfortunately, it's a bit of a trap. Dragon Princes are going to get a lovely rear charge into the back of them. That's going to break that unit in a matter of seconds, and they will be getting dragged down there. Balance power at the moment is in favour of the Beastmen, but remember, there's plenty of healing left for the High Elves, whereas the Beastmen do not have access to such luxuries. Gore herd are running down Silver and Guard, going to be chasing them around for quite a long time. They're going to struggle to catch them a little bit there, but if they're on the run, at least they're not fighting back. Ungor Spearherds are driving away the Handmaiden of the Everqueen, trying to get her to waste some ammunition as well. Big problem, though, for the High Elf forces is the fact there's a basically full health Jabberlife on the field of battle. And although the Great Bray Shaman is starting to take quite a hammering, down to 1,600 HP at the moment. Silver and Guard holding firm up against the Jabberlife, at least for now. But Bestigors have indeed engaged with their beast as well. Both the Handmaidens, as well as the Reavers, are trying to focus down the Great Bray Shaman, and he's taking quite a loss there. 200 HP roughly lost per successful shot. And now that he's full pulled back away from the Handmaidens, the big birdies are on the prowl. Ariel and the Frostheart Phoenix really could come in here and snipe the Great Bray Shaman, though it is risky with the Gorox Man Rippers so close nearby. Silver and Guard are unfortunately terrified and forced off, and it looks like the Air Corps is going to be now used to focus on the scraps, trying to clean up the Ungor Spearherds. There are some Warhounds in the distance, Ungor Raiders and the like. If they can finish these guys off and then cycle charge that central core, there still is a chance, though the balance power is certainly against the High Elf forces, at least at the moment. Ungor Spearherds driving away the cavalry, or at least they think they are, but in reality, the cavalry is actually on the hunt. Ungor Raiders are going to be getting slammed there. Dragon Princes as well, looking to swoop around and help assist. Both the Handmaidens starting to run low on ammunition. We have 5 volleys and 7 volleys left, but I don't think there's too much the Beastmen player can do apart from juke back and forth and pray that they miss the great Bray Shaman, because he is down now just to 777 HP. Alarielle and her best bro, the chillest of all Phoenixes, the Frostheart, doing a decent job here. It looks like Arcane Conduit has indeed gone down. The Bestigor herds trying to catch them and dish out the damage. Javaslav is still very healthy though in the late game here, which is going to be a big problem if the Handmaidens do use up all of that ammunition to kill the Shaman himself, because then what's going to kill the Javaslav? Frostheart Phoenix, once again, jumping over here, using that mobility of these single entities to hunt down the Ungor Spear Herds. Reavers are charging back, Dragon Prince as well, going to be eyeing up some charges. We have the Sons of Goros return to the battlefield, only 8 models left though, and the Beastmen starting to drag all of their units back to a central force once more. They spread out, which is the right thing to do initially, hunt down the enemy, and they've done just that, but now it is going to be an absolute trial for them. We do have some more Sylvan Guard return to the field. Handmaidens continue to pop shots left and right into the Great Bray Shaman, who seems that he might have just cast his last spell. Frostheart Phoenix swoops down in a frosty mist there, rather angry birdie, coming in after the Great Bray Shaman, who I simply think has no chance of survivor right now. Alarielle can swoop over as well. Gorok's Man Rippers can only be in so many places at one time. Frostheart Phoenix beats them away. Alarielle then swoops into the limelight to try to get the kill. Although she seems to be struggling there, the Bray Shaman goes, and now the leadership of the Beastmen truly shall indeed be tested. A load of their units continuously getting cleared up here on the peripheries of the battle, and the Elves are now like swimming sharks circling around the enemy, and they smell blood with the death of the Beastmen Lord. But the Beastmen still in a position of power, actually up on the balance power itself. And a decent amount of troops left, including 75 Bestigors here, 65 and 64 Gorok's Man Rippers. That is a lot of damage output. Javaslav needs to hop on top of some of these single entities and start to tear them apart. Handmaidens, one has run out of ammunition, the other one has just one shot left, though they've both done really good work today. Javaslav has been able to engage now in combat with the Dragon Princes, as well as the Frostheart Phoenix. The Handmaiden, though, charging in heroically to try to slay the beast and save her Dragon Prince friends, who are all running for their lives right now. Bestigor herd have been terrified, which is really bad news for the Beastmen. Gorok's Man Rippers, though, are engaged in combat. Look how quickly that Javaslav is being dealt with by the Frostheart Phoenix. Double Handmaiden, Alarielle combo. That is so much punch from so many different targets, and the Javaslav falls without any of the key targets for the High Elves really taking any damage there. The Gorok's Man Rippers just couldn't get to grips with the enemy. Dragon Princes, they try to get on top of them as well, but they simply swan away and get away a little bit to freedom. Bestigor herds probably want to disengage these Dragon Princes from their kind of retreat here and swoop over to the Bestigors to stop them rallying and coming back, I think is the best move. Alarielle is going to be used to hunt down the Javaslav, and there's just no way a player of the caliber of Lotus Moon is going to let this one escape, and it looks like Alarielle will be able to get her little bird snackies. For the Frostheart Phoenix, he's doing okay, just surrounded by the enemy. He comes in with some pretty useful abilities. He does have the Blizzard Aura, which is really powerful. Learn the melee attack by 10, minus 12 armor piercing, and 12% base weapon damage, and that is constantly on effect. So that's really quite nice. Unfortunately, Attune to Magic is pretty garbage, but apart from that, he's a big beastie, and he's doing some good work today. The Handmaiden is going to be falling back. It looks like the other one is as well. Dragon Prince is just going to use their mobility to swoop over. And it looks like they did notice the Bestigors who were isolated and alone. So what you're going to do, you're going to take your big Frostheart Phoenix, your Handmaidens, your Dragon Princes. You're going to come kill this unit, and there's not too much the Beastmen player can do about it. Alarielle is pushing away the Javaslav now. Not doing the most damage, but still, she's had a good day so far, up to 62 kills in fact. And for a support caster, that's some really good work there. Javaslav, unfortunately, is going to be surviving at least. So I guess he can go tell his other Javaslav friends we need to get vengeance on the High Elves, and I'm sure they will in the future, but he has been forced back now. Reavers and Sylvan Guard are going to be starting to move towards the rear of the Beastmen forces. But yeah, every time the Bestigors get in combat, they're simply being terrified. Now followed up as well by a Lance in charge. Look at the Bestigors go! Just getting sent clattering as the Dragon Princes come in with a rather impressive 114 kills so far, man. I really like Dragon Princes. They're a very, very cool unit here, though they are quite expensive. Yet another Earthblood going down. I've lost count of the amount of Earthbloods we've seen today going down there on the Dragon Princes, as well as the Frostheart Phoenix, which is getting very close there to its healing cap. Now, balance power is very heavy in favour right now of the High Elves. There's still a lot of Besticles around, including the Gork's Man Rippers, who in a vacuum would probably win this, honestly, if everything was kind of like staying in combat against them. But there's going to be a big, big problem for the Beastmen here, and that is going to be their leadership. They've lost their Lord. There's going to be a lot of big Terracles and Beasties flying in here, and a lot of shock damage coming in by Cavalry, Handmaidens, and the like. Sylvan Guard are pushing forward, looking to try to get a downhill charge to start this battle off, as Handmaidens and Dragon Princes kind of swan about, swoop in and out. Besticles, though, do countercharge them. Gork's Man Rippers doing some scary work, no doubt, as the Frostheart Phoenix floats in, and the lowering of the melee attack is so powerful here up against the Gork's Man Rippers, as well as the other Besticles, because they're really struggling to connect. Reavers seem to be getting forced off, but the entire Beastmen force crumbles, particularly with that nice Star of Avalon being saved to the end game, mitigating a lot of damage the High Elves were taking at the end, and it shall be a defeat for the Beastmen. Hordes, well played though to Sir Tarquin. I can say for a fact Lotus Moon is a tricky customer to take down, very talented player, and it looks like Sir Tarquin certainly gave him a fantastic fight, making it a valiant defeat. Very close in the end as well, dragging down a lot of what the High Elves had to offer here today. But the Moon Man himself will not be trifled with, and it is a glorious victory for the High Elves. I've seen a lot of talk recently on how High Elves are kind of one of the worst factions in the game, but you can see, even up against Beastmen, who are considered one of the best, it is certainly still doable and possible, though this is probably the way you're going to see High Elves be played a lot in tournaments, with a lot of powerful characters, a lot of big monsters that they have, and then a bucket ton of healing. It is very, very good. Though I thought the great Bray Shaman also did some really good work throughout the battlefield, lining up some glorious High Elf bowling as well was certainly a good laugh. Now, we will get to the damage dealt and damage value of all of these units in just a second, but I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, do feel free to pop a little thumbs up down below underneath the video. Comment as well on what you thought your favourite part of the battle was, what you think of the High Elves and the current meta and so forth, likewise the Beastmen. I'd be really interested to see what you guys have to say, and I really do appreciate all the support. It's really good fun reading through all your comments every single day. And yeah, you can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more of this action and keep up to date with me. So there are links as well in the down below in the description to my Discord, where you can submit replays just like Sir Tarquin did for this one here today. Also get involved in tournaments and events that I host and chill out with a load of cool people. There's also a link down below to my Patreon if you would indeed like to support the channel. But on to the glorious stuff. The bowling ball himself, the great Bray Shaman on the Tuskor Chariot, 72 kills, 2,406 damage value, over 9,500 damage dealt as well. Certainly not too shabby, considering he got really focus fired down by the Handmaidens. I think he did a pretty good job himself. Ungol Spears did, you know, what Ungol Spears do, die, but again, swarmed the enemy, tried to overrun them, and got some decent value here and there. Best scores are really kind of what was going to dish out the damage from the Beastmen up against this high of build. Looks like this first unit certainly succeeded in that, with over 1,050 damage value, 49 kills. The others, 668, 1,280. So healthy in the late game, but losing your Lord, it's kind of the old school way to beat Beastmen, right? And Greenskins, you just kill the characters and the rest of the army breaks. And that's what happened, because the Besticles would have easily dealt with what remained from the High Elf forces, but the terror, the negatives to leadership dying, the Lord dying, sorry. Negatives to leadership as well, for cavalry charging in, monsters charging in, being surrounded. There was so much stacked against them that they simply broke and ran for the hills. Ungol Raiders not really performing too admirably, to be honest, today. Sensagorus did a good job though, over 1,000 damage value on them. Warhounds as well were used really effectively early on to try to pin in units. Did allow them to drag down at least one unit of the Dragon Princes. Javislife, 2,063 damage value. Beautiful work by the Horror of the Night there, catching out some of the large targets. And if Alario had been forced off early on, this well could have gone completely the other way with a dominant Beastmen victory. But she did just about manage to escape, Lotus Moon recovering from the early near loss there of his liege lady. 583 damage values, not too crazy to be honest for her, but the healing was what mattered, as well as those Stars of Avalon, and her bodyguard, the Handmaidens of the Everqueen themselves, 1,430 damage value, 1,245. Both of them performing really, really well here, with 83 and 76 kills. Them sniping out the Beastmen Lord is what won the game. A unit which I think performed really well, though the damage value would tell you otherwise, only 911 here, was the Frostheart Phoenix. But that Terror was quite nice in the endgame, and the constant Hex as well to enemy melee attack is actually quite nice. Maybe we've overlooked the Frostheart Phoenix a little bit too much. Illyrian Reavers, 833 damage value, not too shabby on this unit whatsoever, 101 kills. The other unit, 670, faring a little bit worse, but still, you know, doing some okay solid work. As for the Silverin Guard, 650 damage value, 586, 647, 101, 31, and 109 kills. Just being the Anvils, so the cavalry and the single entities could win the day, and they did their job. That's what they needed to do, and they did it well. Also clearing out quite a decent amount of chaff. I really like the style as well as some of these new cards that you can see. Silverin Guards 1 did indeed get updated. Both the Dragon Princes, 144 kills, 67 kills. Good work there. 1,230 damage value, over 11k damage dealt, and 536. The second unit faring way, way, way worse than the first one, simply due to the good constant pressure by Sir Tarquin. In the early stages, that unit never really got going like the other one did. So a tale of two different heavy cavalry. This one, they performing really well and still being alive into the end game. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.